Android 14 review, developer preview, what's new, is it worth installing, how to install and rollback. Hello dear friends. This is a great review. Android 14 is one for developers, while in the system settings they are called site det. Such assemblies have a small number of innovations, since this is just the first stage of testing, which usually takes place during February-March. Then beta versions will go, it was tentatively from April to June. In the summer we will see more or less stable builds, and in the fall, in the final release of the installation, the list of supported devices is small. Google is sticking to a 5-year plan to upgrade devices and old devices that you can still save up for. Android 14 remains for now, despite the limited number of supported devices. Third-party manufacturers of devices based on Android 14 will also create their own skins, include some of the functions from this video in one form or another, and migrate to Samsung. And further down the list. The installation process turned out to be really simple even for an inexperienced user. It all just took about half an hour. On the smartphone, you need to enable the developer options, multiple steps by the build number in the phone. In the System for Developers section, you need to activate it, switch it against the factory grouping item. She's the same time blocking William and Atlas. Next, you need to sign smartphones to Poppy or video recording and activate data transfer. Launch the Chrome browser. Installation takes place in his environment and is quite suitable. And by clicking on the link in the description of the Rabbit, launch the online Android tool. All that is left, follow all the steps on the screen. It's really just that. In the subway, the loaders phrase will be executed on the device through physical buttons. The size of the error, while the installers on the computer will be a little more than 2.5 hours at the end, will need to be blocked for the loader, turn off and turn on the device again. The best part is that even the first test build for developers already supports the Russian language. If you didn't like ProChef, there are even several ways to roll back. This will require Windows. In principle, the complete step-by-step instruction is on the network, but I did not find the instruction under the mouse. So, what's new in Android notebooks? Of course, everywhere in the control center and in the system settings of the operating system they indicated, it's not yet 14. But the site is installed and the last 5 are safe. February 5th and 23 in the February update placed the problems that eliminated the instability of the work. The functions of the clock should now be less than not connecting to accessories, and the working profile of the calendar should be stably updated in the background interface in the wallpaper and style settings. Google is tweaking the color schemes slightly, making them less usable and more complementary apps. Health or sports, or chaos. Connecticut will monitor your activity and health. It has been in the Google playoffs for a long time, albeit in beta status. So it became part of the Android 14 system. To run it, you need to go into the jungle of system settings. Security, privacy just isn't there. And then everything will be like in the interface, separate from My Application in the section, Connected Devices, and Connection Settings. You will see a new item, Quickly Connect, a feature that was developed back under 13. Here, the switch for searching for devices nearby is simply activated. The section has not been finished until it is made in the form of a stub with a gap for the future. The Android 14 update has been optimized so that the system consumes less power, and exercises control over stock processes and applications. And I confirm this from personal experience. Already on the first desk, on the usual everything, I got up to 1 additional hour of screen time. In everyday use, compared to Android 13, in the battery section of a joyful battery charge, a screen time counter has appeared since the construction of a full charge. And detailed statistics can now be filtered or, as indicated, broken down by application or system services. Updated the power saving mode page. Now there is a simple switch between basic and extreme power saving modes. The reminder schedule has been moved down. Minimum percentage. Automatic feature activation has been increased from 10% to 20%. The adaptive power option is located in the antivirus menu that opens. Her operating room will decide how to extend the operating time, taking into account the intensity of smartphone use. If you decide to add multiple users to control your smartphone, you will notice a new switch. Give the guest access to calls. After that, the second user will get access to the call log in the security and privacy section that appeared when viewing each menu item with a detailed description text, thanks to which you can understand what is there and whether everything is in order without opening the section itself. In paragraph accessibility, screen zoom, and text, You can now increase the font size by up to 20% compared to the percentage in Android 13, which is especially true for people with poor eyesight. In the section about the phone, you can now see the number in the form of a code. This is an embedded identification document, in fact, an identifier for a built-in smartphone, a SIM card in the same mode that is launched in the developer settings about setting the minimum address width. Instead of 411,600 points, 5 applications now do not display everything. It turns out to be a long stage on functional strips. The default menu item looks like a Parisian dock. Google continues to optimize its interpretation no matter what device screen it is launched on. Since this is just the first build, many new features will come later. For example, add a nice animation to the back that will show which screen you will go to. Returning it is good to visualize the video fragment. We are waiting for the setting, thanks to which the smartphone will automatically switch to a SIM card with the best mobile internet data transfer rates at the moment. Application schedule should become a system feature without the need to install a third party. This is especially true for active users who use the app with different academic records. The user will receive support for the new game controller. Right up to the operation, it will allow you to identify an additional application installed in the background, for example, by an operator or a manufacturer partner, and allow you to quickly remove them. A separate settings page, for hearing devices, will be in the accessibility section. Android 14 will restrict the installation of an application consisting of children. The version is not older than the 23rd. It was developed in 2015 for Android 6. Google argues that the malware often uses versions with children that target older versions of Android. But if you want and need to, then you can bypass the lock using tools with a specific command. In conclusion, I can say that there is no point in updating now. Innovations in the device have appeared. Yes, and I have already encountered him beyond the display. There is no pressing the power button, applications, and the system as a whole. If only one in half a minute. And a whole bunch of different gods will be in it for the development of Android. Keep you up to date. All for now.